Imagine a world where you've never heard a single song, no catchy tunes stuck in your head, no emotional movie soundtracks, no questionable karaoke nights, just silence. Sounds depressing, right? But what actually happens to your brain if you never experience music? Does it change the way you think, the way you feel, the way you interact with the world? Music is basically brain fuel. It affects memory, emotions, and even physical coordination. People who grow up without music might process the world differently than the rest of us. And if you've ever met someone who claims they don't really like music, you might be looking at an accidental psychological experiment. Let's break down what happens when your brain never gets the rhythm. The short answer: your brain misses out on some major perks. Music isn't just entertainment, it literally rewires your brain. So if you never hear it, your mind develops in a, let's say, unique way. Memory and learning take a hit. Studies show music boosts cognitive function, so a life without it could mean slower learning and weaker memory. Your emotional range might be different. Music triggers deep emotional responses. Without it, you might process emotions in a less intense or just weird way. Your social skills could be awkward. Music is a huge part of bonding. If you've never experienced it, social interactions might feel a bit off. So while it wouldn't turn you into a robot, a world without music would make your brain miss out on a ton of benefits. How music shapes the brain and what happens without it. Scientists have studied how music affects brain development, and let's just say skipping it isn't great. Neuroplasticity shrinks. Learning an instrument literally restructures your brain. Without music, you lose that extra mental flexibility. Your brain might process speech differently. Music and language are connected, so people who never hear music may struggle with tone, rhythm, or emotional expression in speech. Less dopamine, more meh. Music activates the brain's reward system, releasing feel-good chemicals. Without it, life might feel a little more gray. Basically, if your brain is a soundboard, music turns up all the best settings. Without it, you're running on factory defaults. Real cases: people who have never heard music. Alright, so this isn't just a theoretical nightmare. There are actual cases of people living without music, either due to hearing impairments, brain conditions, or extreme environments. And the results are interesting. The man with amusia. Some people suffer from amusia, a condition that makes music sound like meaningless noise. No rhythm, no melody, just garbage sounds. The isolated monks experiment. Some extreme religious groups ban music entirely. People raised in these environments report, let's say, unique emotional processing. The deaf community's relationship with music. Many deaf individuals experience music in different ways through vibrations, visual elements, or even brain stimulation experiments. Turns out you can survive without music, but your brain and emotions won't quite work the same. Would you even like music if you heard it later? The late life first time music test. Alright, let's say you've made it through life without ever hearing music, and then, boom, one day you finally hear a song. Would you instantly love it? Or would it just sound like random noise? Your brain might not get it. If you've never been exposed to music, your brain might struggle to process melody, rhythm, and harmony as anything meaningful. Music appreciation is partly learned. Most of us grow up in a world where music is everywhere, so we're conditioned to enjoy it. Someone who's never heard it, they might just find it confusing. Some late listeners do fall in love with it. Studies on people who were deaf and later regained hearing show that while music can be overwhelming at first, many still develop an emotional connection to it over time. So while music appreciation isn't entirely built in, your brain can learn to love it if given the chance. Final thoughts. Is a life without music even worth it? So if you somehow grew up never hearing a single note, would you technically be okay? Sure. But would you be missing out on one of the most powerful, brain-altering, emotionally enriching things in human history? Absolutely. Would your brain rewire itself to function without music? Yes. Would you ever truly understand why people cry to breakup songs? Probably not. Would concerts, musicals, and even simple background music feel like a weird alien concept to you? Yep. At the end of the day, music is more than just sound. It's part of how humans connect with the world and each other. So while you could live without it, the real question is, why would you want to? Let me know what you think, and if you love weird brain science, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because who knows what else your brain is hiding from you.